Commander John Miller stood at the window of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters in Geneva. He looked up at the night sky, searching for any sign of the massive alien vessel that had appeared near Jupiter 3 days ago. The stars twinkled, peacefully, giving no hint of the chaos unfolding in the halls of power across the planet. "Commander, they're ready for you in the Situation Room," said Lieutenant Susan Clark from the doorway. John nodded and straightened his uniform. "Any new developments?" "The alien ship has maintained its position. No new communications since their initial message." They walked through the hallways of the UEDF headquarters. Staff rushed by with urgent expressions, carrying tablets filled with data about the unexpected visitors. The world had changed overnight when humanity realized they were not alone in the universe. The Situation Room fell silent as John entered. Admiral Peter Wright stood at the head of the table, surrounded by military leaders and government officials from around the world. "Commander Miller, glad you could join us," said Admiral Wright, gesturing to an empty seat. "Dr. Bailey has been analyzing the alien communication. She has some concerning findings." Dr. Lisa Bailey, the leading xenolinguist for the UEDF, stood up. Her tired eyes suggested she hadn't slept since first contact. "The aliens call themselves the Ardani Empire," she began, her voice steady despite the pressure. "They claim to control over 200 star systems and expressed surprise at finding us here. They referred to Earth as containing an undocumented sentient species." A murmur went through the room. John leaned forward. "What exactly do they want?" Lisa pulled up the translated message on the main screen. "They're demanding Earth's submission to their empire. They've made it clear this isn't a request or an invitation, it's an order." The room erupted in voices. Some officials argued for immediate surrender, pointing out humanity's technological disadvantage. Others insisted on resistance. At any cost, Admiral Wright raised his hand for silence. "We've just received word that the Ardani are sending a diplomatic vessel to Earth. They'll arrive in 12 hours. "Diplomatic? That's a positive sign, isn't it?" asked one of the government representatives. John shook his head. "Not necessarily. It could be to accept our surrender in person." "Commander Miller is right," Admiral Wright said. "They're coming to deliver an ultimatum. Our intelligence suggests they're positioning additional ships on the edge of our solar system." The meeting continued for hours as Earth's leaders debated their options. John listened carefully to all sides, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The Ardani had appeared too suddenly, with too much confidence. Later that evening, John found himself in the observation center with Lisa. They watched as scientists tracked the approaching Ardani diplomatic ship. "What do you really think about all this?" he asked her. Lisa sighed. "I think we're missing something important. Their language contains nuances suggesting they're used to dealing with very different types of species than humans, and there's something about their tone, almost like they're following a standard procedure they've done many times." "A standard procedure for conquest," John said grimly. "Exactly." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from Lieutenant Clark. "Commander, Doctor, you need to get to control immediately." When they arrived, the control room was in a state of controlled chaos. Admiral Wright stood in the center looking at a holographic display of Earth's orbit. "What's going on?" John asked. "We've detected another ship," Admiral Wright said. "Much smaller than the Ardani vessels. It's approaching Earth under some kind of stealth technology. We almost missed it." "Ardani reinforcements?" Lisa asked. "We don't think so. The design is completely different, and they're actively avoiding the Ardani ship's detection range." The room watched in tense silence as the mysterious vessel slipped past Earth's outer defenses and entered the atmosphere. It landed in a remote area of the Swiss Alps, less than 50 miles from Geneva. "Whoever they are, they chose their landing site deliberately," John said. "They're asking for a meeting." Admiral Wright nodded. "I'm sending you, Commander Miller. Take Dr. Bailey and a small security team. Find out who this is and what they want." 2 hours later, John stood at the edge of a small alpine valley. The alien ship was unlike anything he had seen before. Sleek and almost organic in design, nothing like the angular, imposing Ardani craft now hovering above New York City as a show of force. The ship's door opened silently. A figure emerged, moving, slowly and carefully in Earth's gravity. It was humanoid but clearly alien, tall and thin with pale blue skin that seemed almost translucent. Its large eyes blinked rapidly in Earth's bright sunlight. "I need to speak with your leaders," the alien said in perfect English, its voice coming from a small device at its throat. "There isn't much time." "Who are you?" John asked, his hand resting near his weapon. "I am Maltor of the Keldori. My people were conquered by the Ardani 300 years ago." The alien's eyes darted nervously to the sky. "They must not know I am here." Lisa stepped forward. "Why have you come?" "To warn you." Maltor's voice trembled slightly. "The Ardani have conquered many worlds. They believe your submission is inevitable." "And you don't?" John asked. For the first time, the alien showed something like emotion. The corners of its mouth turned upward in what might have been a smile. "The Ardani have made a critical error in their assessment of your species, one they have never encountered before." "What error?" Admiral Wright asked, having joined them from the transport. "I cannot explain here, it isn't safe. But I must meet with your full leadership immediately," Maltor said urgently. "The Ardani diplomatic vessel isn't coming to negotiate. It's coming to evaluate how easily you can be subjugated." John exchanged glances with the Admiral. "And why should we trust you?" Maltor reached into a pouch at its side and pulled out a small device. It projected a hologram showing dozens of worlds, each with different species being forced into servitude by the Ardani. "Because I have seen this happen before. Because my people live as slaves. Because the Ardani Empire is built on the backs of conquered species." The alien's large eyes fixed on John's. "But you humans have a chance that none of us had." "What chance?" Lisa asked. Maltor looked around at the small group of humans, studying them with intense curiosity. "You must not surrender to them," the alien said, its voice dropping to almost a whisper. "Whatever you do, do not let them know what humans are truly capable of." The words hung in the air like a chilling prophecy. As they escorted the alien visitor to a secure facility, John couldn't help wondering what exactly the Keldori believed humans were capable of, and why that knowledge seemed to both terrify and give hope to their unexpected ally. The Ardani ultimatum was coming. Earth had less than 8 hours to decide its fate, and now they had a mysterious warning that suggested the choice might not be as simple as fight or surrender. There was something about humanity that even the vast Ardani Empire didn't understand yet. Something that might just save them all. The underground facility beneath Geneva hummed with activity. Maltor sat at a large table surrounded by Earth's military and political leaders. The Keldori alien looked small and fragile under the bright lights, but its large eyes missed nothing. Colonel Jack Rogers studied the visitor with suspicion. As head of military intelligence, he trusted no one, especially not an alien who appeared just hours before a potential invasion. "You claim the Ardani Empire enslaves other species," said Admiral Wright. "Why should we believe you instead of them?" Maltor's translator device converted its soft clicks and whistles into English. "The Ardani began as peaceful explorers centuries ago, but as they encountered other species, they grew to see themselves as superior. Now they rule over 47 different species across hundreds of worlds." Dr. Kate Martinez leaned forward. As the lead xenobiologist, she had been studying Maltor's physiology with fascination. "Your body structure suggests your species evolved in a low-gravity environment," she said. "You're physically weaker than humans." "Yes," Maltor replied. "The Keldori are not built for conflict. When the Ardani came, we had no way to resist them." Outside the meeting room, Commander John Miller and Dr. Lisa Bailey watched through a one-way window. "What do you think?" John asked. Lisa crossed her arms. "I think our visitor is telling the truth. The question is, what makes humans different? Why come all this way to warn us?" Inside, General William Jones pounded his fist on the table. "We have less than 4 hours before the Ardani delegation lands. We need to know what we're facing. How large is their military? What weapons do they have?" Maltor touched a device on its wrist. A hologram appeared above the table, showing massive ships and strange weapons. The Ardani control the largest fleet in our part of the galaxy. Their weapons technology is centuries ahead of yours. The room fell silent as images of conquered worlds appeared. Cities in ruins, alien species working in mines and factories under armed guards. This was my homeworld, Maltor said as an image of a beautiful blue planet appeared. 300 years ago it was as free as Earth. Now it is a mining colony. My people extract resources for the Empire until they die from exhaustion. Why help us? Colonel Rogers asked bluntly. What do you gain? Maltor's thin shoulders straightened. Hope. For 3 centuries we have searched for a species that could challenge the Ardani. We believe humans might be that species. That's absurd, said one of the political leaders. You just showed us their technology. They would crush us. Technology is not everything, Maltor replied. Humans possess something no other species we've encountered has. Before anyone could ask what that something was, an alarm sounded. Lieutenant Susan Clark rushed into the room. The Ardani delegation has moved up their arrival. Their ship will reach New York in 1 hour, not 4. Admiral Wright stood up. They're trying to catch us off guard. We need more time. I can help, Maltor said. I have brought technical schematics that could improve your defensive capabilities. The alien transferred data to Earth's systems. Engineers and scientists gasped as they reviewed the information. This could upgrade our weapons and shields significantly, said Jordan Hill, the chief engineer who had been called in to review the data. But it would take days to implement fully. We don't have days, General Jones said grimly. We have minutes. In a private room, John and Lisa spoke with Maltor while the others prepared for the Ardani arrival. You still haven't told us what makes humans special, John said. Maltor studied him carefully. Most intelligent species in the galaxy evolved. From herd animals or solitary gatherers, they developed intelligence as a defense against predators. And humans? Lisa asked. You are the predators, Maltor said simply. Your species evolved as pack hunters. Your adaptability and aggression together are unmatched in any species we've encountered. John frowned. The Ardani must have fought aggressive species before. The Ardani don't know what humanity is truly capable of because they've never encountered a predator species before. Maltor explained. They expect you to behave like the others, to calculate the odds and surrender when you see their power. Lisa's eyes widened. But humans often fight even when the odds are against us. Exactly, Maltor said. Your history is filled with examples of smaller forces defeating larger ones through creativity, determination, and willingness to sacrifice. These concepts are alien to the Ardani. Their conversation was interrupted when Colonel Rogers burst into the room. His face was pale. Have a problem. Someone transmitted information about Maltor to the Ardani ship. A spy? John asked, standing up quickly. Or someone who believes surrender is our best option, Rogers replied. Either way, the Ardani know we're hiding something. Screens throughout the facility lit up with an incoming transmission. The face that appeared was vaguely humanoid, but with gray-green skin and eyes like polished stones. People of Earth, the Ardani representative said, we know you are harboring a Keldori fugitive. This is a violation of Imperial law. Your deception has been noted. The transmission ended abruptly. Seconds later, reports flooded in from around the world. They're launching attacks on military installations, Lieutenant Clark shouted. Targets include command centers in North America, Asia, and Europe. Admiral Wright rushed into the room. The diplomatic meeting was never going to happen. They were just waiting until their fleet was in position. We need to evacuate, General Jones ordered. This facility will be targeted soon. As alarms blared and personnel rushed to battle stations, John turned to Maltor. Is there anything else we should know? Anything that might help us survive? Maltor looked at the humans with an expression that might have been respect. Remember this. The Ardani have ruled unchallenged for 1,000 years. They have forgotten what it means to fight for survival. You have not. The ground shook as the first explosions hit nearby. Earth's first interstellar war had begun, not with diplomacy but with treachery. As they rushed toward the emergency transport vehicles, John couldn't help wondering if humanity's aggressive nature, the very thing that had caused so much suffering throughout human history, might be their salvation against the stars. The Ardani had expected an easy conquest. They were about to learn that humans were unlike any species they had ever encountered. Smoke filled the sky over London as Major Sam Baker led his troops through the rubble. The Ardani had hit major cities across the globe in their first wave. 3 days into the invasion, Earth forces were still in shock at the speed and power of the attack. "Status report," Sam said into his radio. "They've established a base in Hyde Park," came the reply from his scout. "At least 50 of their troops and some kind of energy shield." Sam looked at his squad. They were tired and dirty, but their eyes were determined. "We hit them from multiple sides. Use the underground tunnels like we planned." On the other side of the world, Captain Laura Wilson climbed into the cockpit of her fighter jet. The experimental craft had been upgraded with elements of Keldori technology in the frantic hours before the invasion began. "Defiant Squadron, check in," she called to her pilots. One by one, the other 5 pilots reported ready. They were Earth's first line of defense against the Ardani ships now controlling the skies. "Remember, their shields have a 3-second recharge. After taking a direct hit," Laura said. "That's our window. Hit them hard, then get clear." In a hidden base beneath the Rocky Mountains, Commander John Miller studied the holographic map showing battles across the planet. Beside him stood Maltor, pointing at Ardani formations. "Their tactics are predictable," the Keldori said. "They always follow the same patterns because they've never needed to adapt." Admiral Wright joined them, his face grim. "We've lost 20% of our military capacity, but we're still fighting. The Ardani expected us to surrender by now." On the main Ardani command ship, Grand Marshal Ziv Kor watched the ongoing invasion with growing frustration. The human resistance was stronger than anticipated. "Why haven't they surrendered?" Ziv Kor demanded of his advisors. "We've shown our power. Their primitive weapons cannot harm our ships." "They fight differently than expected," replied his second-in-command. "They retreat, then attack from new directions. They hide among their civilians. They use their own buildings as traps." Ziv Kor slammed his fist on the control panel. "Increase the attacks. They must learn their place." Back on Earth in a makeshift lab, engineer Jordan Hill worked frantically with a team of scientists. They had been adapting Keldori technology to human weapon systems. "The power coupling is stable," Jordan said, attaching a small device to a conventional missile. "This should penetrate their shields if Captain Wilson's team can get close enough." In orbit, Laura and her squadron approached an Ardani destroyer. The massive ship glowed with energy as it prepared to fire on Sydney. "Remember the plan," Laura said to her pilots. "Draw their fire, then I'll make the run." The human fighters darted around the larger ship like insects, firing their weapons. The Ardani responded with energy beams that lit up space. "They're targeting the lead fighter," Laura observed. "They always aim for the first threat they see." She cut her engines and dropped below the destroyer while the Ardani focused on her squadron. When she was directly beneath the alien ship, she fired her upgraded missile. The weapon struck the Ardani vessel and pierced its shields. A massive explosion rocked the destroyer, sending it tumbling out of orbit. "Direct hit," one of the pilots shouted. "The bastard is going down." For the first time since the invasion began, humans had destroyed an Ardani warship. The news spread quickly across the planet. In London, Sam's forces used the underground tunnels to surround the Ardani base in Hyde Park. They attacked from all sides at once, confusing the aliens who were used to fighting enemies who approached in formation. "They don't adjust well to multiple threats," Sam told his troops over the radio. "Keep moving, don't stay in one place long enough for them to target you." In the Rocky Mountain base, John and Admiral Wright watched the reports coming in from around the world. "It's working," John said, amazed. "We're actually hurting them." Maltor nodded. "The Ardani's empire consists mostly of herbivore species who surrendered quickly. They've never fought warriors like humans before." Admiral Wright studied the Keldori. "You knew this would happen. That's why you warned us." "I hoped," Maltor replied. "My people were peaceful scientists. We had no chance against them. But you humans— The alien's eyes shimmered with what might have been admiration. You think differently. You see opportunities where others see only threats. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent message. Sir, we're intercepting Ardani communications. They're calling for reinforcements. John's face darkened. How many? A lot, sir. They're mobilizing their main fleet. Maltor stood up straighter. This is significant. The Ardani never had to call for reinforcements before. You've surprised them. Admiral Wright nodded grimly. But can we hold out until help arrives for us? What help? John asked. We're alone. Out here. Maltor stepped forward. Not entirely alone. There are resistance movements among many conquered species. They've been waiting for this moment for centuries. The moment when the Ardani show weakness, John realized. Yes, Maltor confirmed. The Ardani have grown complacent. They've never had to fight a real war in thousands of years. From orbit, a transmission cut through all Earth communications. The face of Grand Marshal Zivkor appeared on screens worldwide. People of Earth, the Ardani commander said, his voice cold with rage. We've never encountered such savagery. You will suffer for each of our fallen. Our main battle fleet approaches. You have 7 days to surrender, or we will make your planet uninhabitable. The transmission ended. In the silence that followed, John turned to Maltor. Can they do that? Destroy the entire planet? Yes, Maltor said quietly. They have the technology. Admiral Wright paced the room. Then we have 7 days to find a way to stop them. In a secure communication room, John and a team of technicians worked with Maltor to send a message to the resistance movements in the Ardani Empire. Hope was a dangerous thing, but it spread quickly among oppressed peoples. For the first time in centuries, the Ardani faced an enemy they couldn't easily defeat. As Earth prepared for the arrival of the main Ardani fleet, humans did what they had always done throughout their history. They adapted, they planned, and they refused to give up even when the odds seemed impossible. 7 days to save their world. 7 days to show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. 1 year had passed since the Ardani first appeared in Earth's solar system. The planet was scarred by battle, but humanity had survived. Dr. Lisa Bailey, now Admiral Bailey, stood on the bridge of Earth's first true battleship, the Defender. The massive vessel had been built using a combination of human ingenuity and alien technology. Status report, Lisa ordered as they approached the orbit of Mars. All systems ready, Admiral, replied her second-in-command. The Ardani don't appear to have detected us yet. Lisa nodded. After months of fighting, humans had learned much about their enemy. The Ardani were powerful, but predictable. They relied too heavily on their advanced technology and rarely changed their tactics. On the main viewing screen, she could see the red planet. Mars had been taken by the Ardani in the early days of the war. The human colonies there had been turned into processing centers for resources. Thousands of people were being held as prisoners. Begin the operation, Lisa ordered. Across the solar system, coordinated attacks began. Earth forces had been planning this for months, a simultaneous strike against all Ardani holdings from the moon to Jupiter's moons. In his workshop beneath what remained of Chicago, Chief Engineer Ryan Murphy put the finishing touches on a new weapon. The device combined Ardani shield technology with human explosives in a way the aliens had never anticipated. Will it work? Asked Commander John Miller, who had come to check on progress. Ryan wiped sweat from his forehead. Theory says yes. The Ardani think in straight lines. If A works and B works, they never consider what happens if you combine them in unexpected ways. John picked up one of the smaller devices. And this will let our ground forces punch through their armor? Like a hot knife through butter, Ryan confirmed. The Ardani have never needed to update their personal armor because no one ever found a way past it before. Meanwhile, in the occupied territory that had once been Eastern Europe, Major Sam Baker led a resistance cell through abandoned streets. His team carried the new weapons Ryan had developed. Remember, Sam told his soldiers, Aim for their command units. They can't adapt without orders from above. The human fighters moved silently. Through the ruins, ahead, an Ardani patrol marched in perfect formation. Another weakness humans had discovered. The aliens always maintained precise patterns, making them predictable. Sam gave the signal. His team attacked from multiple directions, using Ryan's new weapons. The Ardani shields flickered and failed against the hybrid technology. Within minutes, the entire patrol was defeated without a single human casualty. Across Earth, similar scenes played out as humanity took back their planet one battle at a time. In the vast throne room of the Ardani homeworld, Emperor Vostan received disturbing reports from his generals. "How is this possible?" the Emperor demanded. "These humans were primitive when we arrived. They should have been conquered within days." Grand Marshal Zivkor, now scarred from battles with human forces, bowed low. "They learn and adapt faster than any species we've encountered, Your Majesty. They've taken our technology and improved upon it." "Impossible," the Emperor said. "They are simply animals who got lucky. With respect, Your Majesty, they've now destroyed 73 of our ships and retaken half their planet. This is not luck." The Emperor stood, his tall frame imposing even among the Ardani. "Then we will commit our full forces. I want Earth reduced to ash. No more playing games." In Earth orbit, the Defender and its sister ships engaged the main Ardani defense fleet. Admiral Bailey watched as human fighters swarmed around the larger alien vessels. "They still haven't figured out that we're jamming their communications," she said to her bridge crew. "Each of their ships is fighting alone while ours work together." On her command screen, she saw the Mars operation was succeeding. Earth forces had landed and were freeing the human prisoners. The Ardani garrison there was in disarray, unable to coordinate their response. Commissioner Alan Scott, the civilian leader of Earth's unified government, joined Lisa on the bridge. The outer colonies report success as well. Jupiter Station is back under human control. Lisa allowed herself a small smile. "And the special mission?" "Ongoing," Alan replied more quietly. "Maltor's contacts in the Resistance have smuggled our team deep into Ardani territory. This was the most daring part of their plan. While Earth forces distracted the Ardani military, a small team had been sent to make contact with other enslaved species. If they succeeded, the Ardani would face rebellion throughout their empire." On an Ardani-controlled world 12 light-years from Earth, John Miller and a small team of human special forces moved through an alien city. They were disguised using holographic technology provided by Maltor. "The meeting point is 2 blocks ahead," John whispered to his team. "Remember, most of these species have never seen humans before. Don't make any sudden movements." In a hidden basement, representatives from 7 different alien races waited nervously. When John's team arrived, there were gasps and murmurs. "So it's true," said a tall, crystalline being. "The Ardani have finally met their match." John nodded. "We come with a proposal, a formal alliance against the Empire." Maltor, who had accompanied the human team, stepped forward. "My friends, what humans have done in 1 year, we failed to do in centuries. They've proven the Ardani can be defeated." The various aliens discussed among themselves in different languages. Finally, the crystalline being spoke again. "We will join you. Our people will rise up when the signal comes." Back on Earth, Ryan Murphy worked with alien scientists who had defected to the human side. Together, they had created something the Ardani could never have imagined, a device that could disable their ship's engines using principles from 3 different species technologies. "It's ready," Ryan announced to the assembled military leaders. "1 pulse from this, and any Ardani ship within range will be dead in space." In orbit, Admiral Bailey received the news. "Deploy the devices to all ships," she ordered, "and prepare for the final phase." Unknown to Earth, Emperor Vostan had already dispatched his entire remaining fleet. 10,000 ships were en route to the solar system with orders to destroy every living thing on Earth. "Let the humans enjoy their small victories," the Emperor told his advisors. "Soon they will be nothing but a memory." What the Emperor didn't No was that his empire was already crumbling from within. On 20 different worlds, resistance fighters prepared for revolution. The news of human success against the supposedly invincible Ardani had spread hope across the galaxy. As Earth prepared for the final battle, Commissioner Scott addressed the unified planet. For a year we have fought for our survival. We have shown what humans do best. We adapt, we overcome, and we never surrender. Now we fight not just for Earth, but for all those who suffer under Ardani rule. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate not just of humanity, but of countless enslaved species across the stars. The final battle was about to begin. The edge of the solar system lit up with thousands of lights as the Ardani main fleet arrived. Fleet Commander John Miller watched from the bridge of Earth's flagship, the Unity. The massive ship represented everything humans had learned in the past year, a fusion of technologies from multiple species combined with human ingenuity. 10,000 ships, reported his tactical officer. Just as our intelligence suggested? John nodded calmly. A year ago, such a sight would have filled him with despair. Now he felt only determination. Signal all Earth vessels. Battle formation Beta. The human fleet was vastly outnumbered. Only 500 ships stood between Earth and total destruction. But John knew numbers weren't everything. The Ardani still think they're facing a primitive species, he told his crew. Let's show them how wrong they are. On the Ardani command ship, Emperor Vostan himself had come to witness Earth's destruction. The continued resistance of these humans had become a personal insult. Begin the attack, the Emperor ordered. Full planetary bombardment once their pitiful fleet is destroyed. The Ardani ships moved forward in perfect rows, their formation flawless after thousands of years of unopposed conquest. John watched them approach. They never learn, he said quietly. Activate the pulse. Throughout the human fleet, special devices powered up. A wave of energy spread across space, invisible, but powerful. When it reached the Ardani fleet, thousands of ships suddenly went dark as their engines failed. First phase successful, reported John's second-in-command. Their front line is disabled. Launch fighters, John ordered. Hundreds of small, fast ships poured from the human vessels. They darted between the massive Ardani warships, targeting specific systems that human intelligence had identified as weaknesses. The Ardani response was confused. Without their usual perfect coordination, individual ships fired in different directions, sometimes hitting their own vessels. On Earth, Senator Olivia Parker stood in the Global Command Center with Admiral Wright and Commissioner Scott. As the EI, diplomatic leader of humanity's new alliance, she had a crucial role to play. The signal is ready, she told the others. Once we confirm the Ardani communication network is disrupted, we broadcast to all their territories. Admiral Wright nodded. The fate of more than just Earth hangs in the balance now. In deep space, the battle continued. The Ardani still had thousands of operational ships, and they pressed forward toward Earth. Despite the human advantages, the sheer number of enemy vessels was overwhelming. We can't hold them much longer, John's tactical officer warned. Their second wave is adapting to our tactics. John had expected this. Activate Phase 2. Throughout the solar system, hidden weapons platforms that humans had built over the past year powered up. These devices, combining technology from 3 different species, fired concentrated beams of energy that tore through Ardani shields. It's working, someone shouted as dozens of enemy ships exploded. But the Ardani fleet was vast. They pressed forward, absorbing losses that would have broken any other force. Emperor Vostan watched with growing rage as his perfect fleet suffered unprecedented damage. How is this possible? He demanded. They are nothing. Primitives who only discovered space travel a few decades ago. His advisors had no answer. Nothing in Ardani history had prepared them for an enemy like humanity. On the Unity, John received an urgent communication. Sir, the Emperor's ship has been identified. It's at the center of their second wave. This was the opportunity they had been waiting for. All forces target these coordinates. Operation Kingslayer is a go. Across the battlefield, human ships changed formation. They concentrated their fire on a single point in the Ardani line, directly at the Emperor's vessel. Meanwhile, on dozens of worlds throughout the Ardani Empire, the signal from Earth reached resistance cells. Maltor, speaking from the human command center, addressed all oppressed species. The time has come. The Ardani are vulnerable. Their fleet is engaged at Earth. Rise up now, and freedom will be ours. Rebellions erupted across the Empire. Centuries of resentment exploded into action as factories stopped, administration centers were seized, and Ardani control crumbled. In the space battle, the Emperor's ship came under concentrated attack. Its shields held initially, but no defense, could withstand such focused firepower forever. Continue the assault, John ordered as his own ship shook from enemy fire. We only need to hold a little longer. On the Ardani throne world, news of rebellions across the Empire reached the ruling council. The Emperor has led us to disaster, one counselor declared. We must sue for peace before we lose everything. Another counselor stood. I propose we send a message to the humans. The Emperor no longer speaks for the Ardani people. The vote was unanimous. For the first time in their history, the Ardani would negotiate rather than conquer. In space, the Emperor's ship finally exploded in a brilliant flash of light. A cheer went up throughout the human fleet. All Ardani vessels, this is Fleet Commander John Miller of Earth. John broadcast on all frequencies. Your Emperor is dead. Your empire is in rebellion. Surrender now, and we will spare your lives. For a long moment, there was no response. Then, one by one, the Ardani ships powered down their weapons. On Earth, Maltor stood with Senator Parker as they prepared to address the galaxy. The Keldori seemed to stand taller now, pride having replaced centuries of submission. You have done what no one thought possible, Maltor told her. You've broken the Ardani Empire. Not just us, Olivia replied. All the resistance fighters across the stars. This victory belongs to everyone who fought for freedom. Maltor nodded, but then grew serious. There is something I must tell you, something I could not say until now. What is it? She asked. Warning I gave wasn't just to protect humans from the Ardani, Maltor explained. It was to protect the galaxy from what humans might become if pushed too far. Olivia frowned. I don't understand. Your species has proven it can defeat the greatest empire the galaxy has ever known, Maltor said. Now you stand at a crossroads. You could become the new Ardani, using your power to dominate others. Or you could lead a new alliance based on cooperation and freedom. As the news of victory spread across Earth, celebrations erupted in every city. Humanity had survived its greatest test. But as John Miller's ship returned to Earth orbit, he knew the real challenge was just beginning. The Ardani had fallen because they believed in their own superiority. They had conquered because they could, not because they should. Humanity now faced the same temptation of power. In Geneva, where the war had begun a year earlier, representatives from 27 alien species gathered to sign a new treaty. Earth, as the leader of the revolution, had the strongest military. Now, they could have demanded anything. Instead, they proposed a coalition of equals, a new beginning for the galaxy based not on conquest but on cooperation. As John watched the ceremony from orbit, he remembered Maltor's first warning. Don't let them know what humans are truly capable of. Now he understood the full meaning of those words. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their ability to fight, it was their ability to choose not to.